Hold on one second. We got to start this off the right way.
Incredible. Is this your dog?
Oh, that's right.
Child.
So listen, Dylan and Jessica, if we're going to talk about love and monsters, I had to bring my best supporting character to the interview. And let's start by talking about one of the best characters in the whole movie, which is, of course,
Hell
Boy.
yeah. Hell yeah.
That was Nova. That's my little girl Nova. But so you guys worked with a dog named Boy. What is that like on set? How do you what changes on set when you're working with a little pup?
So happy we're talking about this. Well, first of all, yeah, I mean, like, you have like this dog around, you know, two of them, actually two, there was two, Hero and Dodge. And they're just like, yeah, it's just like, it's actually incredible how often I emotionally leaned on these dogs, you know, like I would just go and roll on the ground to them whenever I was like tired or something, and they would just lick my face. And there's also something like, super incredible about how like, they're not like allowed to, this is terrible because I loved this so much, but they're not like allowed to like interact with anyone but me.
Wait, really?
Yeah, most of the time, unless it's a day where they have to focus on interacting with another actor, then I have to like take the day staying away from them, which was awful. There were days where like Ariana, like for a few hours, could be the only one cuddling with the dogs, and I was like, I'm gonna kill her.
Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's funny. That's cool. That sounds like a really fun experience. And also, I mean, I'm a big Walking Dead fan. So speaking of crazy animals on set, you also worked with Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
So I know he's a really fun guy who just doesn't have an off switch on the energy. Did he give you any apocalypse advice after working on Walking Dead?
I don't even think he remembered that he was in The Walking Dead. I was like, dude, I loved you in Walking Dead. He's like, say what?
Was I on that show?
Character in The Walking Dead. He's like, I got no idea what you're talking about, man.
That sounds very accurate.
Yeah. He that's such a great way to describe him. He really, like, his energy's nonstop. He's hilarious. Rooker's unreal.
Yeah, he's one of a kind. Oh, okay, so now this one's for both you guys. There's a scene, a really cool action sequence, where you both have to fight a giant crab and that's not even a metaphor. You're literally fighting a giant crab. And I'm curious, like, when you're on set that day on the beach and there's this, like, is any of that real? Like, is that, because it looked very convincingly in existence. So I wanted to know, was any part of that thing really there, or are you guys kind of looking at things that are just completely non-existent?
There was a tennis ball on a stick. And then there was this blow-up crab that we had sometimes.
Yeah, they would drag out this gigantic blow-up crab that they ordered two of from China, and like it was like to take a reference sometimes. Like, it would obviously never be there when we were shooting, but it was hilarious that it even existed. But that whole set was real. Like, they like made that whole beach set, so the environment was totally practical. There would just be times. I remember there's a whole thing that, like, I remember like being on the beach and literally like mapping out like my fight with this crab, or like where it would hit and how I would, this whole like backing up sequence, just all like making it up on the spot, like just being like, okay, like first it sweeps my legs and then I can roll over as it comes down like this, and then I'll scurry up and then it'll knock over that house thing, and like all just doing it to nothing. So much fun.
That's why I thought maybe it was kind of like Game of Thrones with the dragons, where they kind of had like a piece of it, but that whole thing was computerized. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, so just, I want to know, just because I know you can't say too much about other films, but how did the kind of experiences compare with the monsters here versus, I mean, like monsters as tall as the Empire State Building on Kong vs. Godzilla?
No, so I actually didn't interact that much with the monsters on Godzilla vs. Kong.
That's fair.
But my experience on that was similar in that it was a mixture of practical and CG.
Yeah, very cool. Well, listen, we don't want to get you in trouble, so I respect it. And so, watching the beginning of this movie, I feel like we all kind of can understand Joel's mentality of wanting to stay inside, but also missing the outside world, because Joel had an outside world and Amy had an outside world before the monsters came to existence in this universe. So I'm curious for you guys, what kind of this year, in feeling that way, have you learned to really appreciate that you never really thought was a little thing that you'd miss so much? What have you kind of realized? Maybe we took that for granted a little bit.
Everything. But like, it's really like also just sharpened things in a focus that has weirdly like simplified perspective, you know, like in such a weird contrast to like this chaos, you know, which is interesting, but like sort of, well, incredibly humbling and like sort of comforting in a way, like things that mean something to me that are the things that are paramount right now are like just like the health and well-being of like your loved ones, you know what I mean? Like things that you like go so often like forgotten about or just like pushed to the back, when really ultimately that is like, those are the most important things, you know what I mean? All of your little fucking problems like kind of go away, you know, which is like, I don't know, it's a really good like reality check, you know. The amount of checking in that like I think I just, you know, routinely do now on everyone I love, and I'm so lucky to have so many like people I love in the world, you know, so many like dear friends of mine that I've come across and are still with me, and just like nurturing those relationships is just like, you know, it really just shifts things into perspective, you know. And
yeah,